Awesome, awesome. Welcome everyone. Bienvenidos todos to the conference. Why not you? ¿Por qué no tú? Today we're going to have two presenters, uh, Richard Taddy as well as Edward A. Womack. We're going to begin with Edward Womack first. Okay, so let me introduce him to you all. Edward Womack is an author, un autor, a motivator, un motivador. He's also a coach, un entrenador, y consejador. So he also gives advice. Now, vive en la metropolitan area de Georgia. He lives in the metropolitan area of Georgia, but he was raised in Detroit, Michigan. O sea, se crió en Detroit, Michigan. His mantra is, to whom much is given, much is required. En español, that means, de todo aquel a quien se le ha dado, mucho será demandado. Okay. Also, another thing that is unique about Richard, he has gone through a lot of different things in terms of substance abuse and depression, o sea, adictos de recuperación, y también deprimido. So he has overcome a lot of obstacles, and he is the right person to write the book called Back from Broken. En español, I would interpret that as Sobreviviendo después del fracaso. Now, Richard also attends Berean Christian Church in Gwinnett, where he is a mentor. Basically, a lot of boys follow him, and he does mentoring in many different capacities. He graduated from the Christian school, and so he has a lot under him. The name of the school is called Trinity House Men's Program, and that occurred in 2007. So I am happy to be here listening to Edward Womack.
All right. Good afternoon. Mic check, mic check. Mercedes, can you see and hear me?
I can see you, and I can hear you.
All right. Awesome. Well, welcome, everyone, to Why Not You? And so glad to be on and be able to do this with my good buddy, Richard Toddy. And thank you, Mercedes, so much for helping us out this evening. Had a few technical difficulties, but we're going to make it through because we are destined for greatness tonight, and we're going to really share with the audience why not you, how to get beyond your excuses. So I need to do a quick mic check here, a little bit of housekeeping before we get into the presentation itself. So I want to reach out to my buddy Richard. Mic check, Richard, mic check.
Mic check, Ed. I'm on the call. How you doing?
All right, brother. There we go. There we go. All right. Love it when a plan comes together. So we got Richard on the mic check. So everybody that's out there this evening, what we'd like for you to do to pay it forward, you should see a couple of buttons above the broadcast window. And what we just ask that you do is we want to know who you are. So we want you to go ahead out to our private group. Actually, it's a public group. It's called Be Your Best 2015. So if you are out there on Facebook, if you could, go to the group Be Your Best 2015, which is our group. And if you would have any questions or if you want to just shoot some comments our way, we'd love to hear from you. Also in the broadcast window itself, you should see some buttons across the top of the broadcast window. And that broadcast window has a Facebook, a Google+, a LinkedIn. So just click one of those share buttons for us up there. And if you don't mind, just put why not you is happening now. Actually, I'm sorry, hashtag why not you space is happening now. And then go ahead and hit that share button for us. So with that, let's go ahead and we're going to jump into things. Again, we want to know who you are. So put your first name, your last name, and where you're from inside of the Be Your Best 2015 Facebook group. And we're going to go ahead and get started in the interest of being on time. Me and Richard both like to do that. So want to start out with the presentation. So let me go ahead and get us rolling here. So, Brother Richard, if you could let me know if you can see the first screen in the PowerPoint deck, we can go ahead and jump things off and get this party started.
Okay, let's get the party started. I can see it.
All right, let's roll. Okay, so first and foremost, we want to start out with a couple of questions and ask the audience, you know, and obviously you can't respond immediately, but we want to know, are you trapped in stereotypes? Things that have been said around you, things that you may not necessarily agree with, but you've fallen into just because of where you live, because of where you work, because of your ethnic background. Are you caught in the hype of society, that things are going on around you? You think that, you know, you got to be an entertainer or a star athlete in order to actually be considered important or to be able to make it to that next level? You know, we want to also understand, do you happen to have all the possessions, monetary, material things, but you still find yourself sometimes unhappy, not quite as where you want to be in life? And do you struggle with just stepping outside of your comfort zone? Have you wanted that new position? Have you wanted that new relationship? Have you wanted to go to a different career? Have you wanted to go and extend beyond something that you've always wanted, but you just haven't made that move? Why not you? Richard?
Good introduction. La mía sería en español. Yo soy Richard, coach motivador y transformador, y estaríamos hablando de hoy por qué no eres esa persona. Ok, y las tres preguntas que están hoy en línea serían, primero, ¿estás atrapado en los estereotipos de la sociedad? O sea, ¿qué es lo que está pasando? ¿Qué es lo que estás haciendo? ¿Por qué siempre sigues en la misma posición? ¿Estás atrapado en esos estereotipos de la sociedad? La pregunta número dos, ¿tienes estabilidad económica y material, pero aún no te sientes feliz? O sea, ¿qué es lo que, o sea, a lo mejor tienes algo y puede que tu carácter te llevó a un lugar, pero tú todavía no encuentras esa felicidad al 100%. ¿Ok? ¿Qué es lo que tienes? O sea, tienes material, pero tú no te sientes todavía feliz, tú no te sientes todavía realizado. La tercera pregunta es, ¿estás tomando riesgo fuera de tu zona de confort? Porque lo que pasa es que la mayoría de la gente estamos haciendo cosas, pero nos encontramos en una zona de confort. No queremos hacer algo que nos lleve, pero tenemos que saber que hoy en día todo lo que queremos hacer que nos dé resultado tiene que estar fuera de esa zona de confort. Ed, you got it.
All right, my man. So what we want to actually impress upon you this evening is, you know, there's a saying that the sky's the limit, and we believe the sky is not the limit. Your mind is. Your mind is.
Para los que no saben, Richard es entrenador multilingüal. También es orador estratégico y estudió psicología en la Universidad de Habana, su tierra natal, en Cuba. Y también Richard ha estudiado, o sea, ha trabajado con diferentes organizaciones. Es algo que es internacional y se dio cuenta que tiene el poder para motivar a las personas. En cuanto a el corporate world, so he worked in the corporate world, and he has also worked at the on an international level, and he discovered that he could motivate people when he was helping different corporations in sales.
All right. So when we move forward through this presentation of the Why Not You, one first thing that we need to understand, and what I've come to understand and realize, is that as I was going through my journey and coming back from broken, what I began to realize is that it wasn't that the sky was the limit, it was that my mind was the limit. I found myself not really extending and stretching myself beyond what I could see right now. You see, I was limited, I was challenged, I was put in a situation where I didn't have the right mix in my relationship. I didn't quite have the things that I felt comfortable that could move me forward. But what I also began to realize is that I was just grossly unhappy. And I tried to give my energy to those things that were negative. But as I grew and began to get a moment of clarity, I was able to actually began to change my focus. I was able to put myself in a situation where the moment of clarity allowed that unexplained energy to enter into my life. And that's when I began to realize that the sky was not the limit. It was my mind that was limiting. It was the thing between my ears that was holding me back. It was the things that I allowed myself to watch on television that I wanted to make myself emulate that made me limited. It was those crazy things outside of me that until I came to a realization that I needed to change what I put into my mind. And as I began to put new things into my mind, new results began to materialize before me. Brother Richard?
Yeah, thank you very much, Ed. Muchas veces nosotros nos estamos, la pregunta que tenemos es, como siempre nos damos cuenta y decimos que el cielo es el límite. Y muchas veces no es el cielo que es el límite, más bien es nuestra mente que nos limita para hacer cosas grandes, para llegar a otro extremo y para poder ver la vida de otra manera. Entonces, y nos damos cuenta de eso porque uno como empresario ha pasado muchas situaciones, muchos problemas, pero esa parte de miedo, esa parte de no estar seguro de lo que se te va a venir en adelante, esa parte de no saber exactamente qué es lo que hay del otro lado, nos mantiene en esa zona de confort, nos mantiene en ese miedo y por eso nosotros nos frenamos. Tenemos que darnos cuenta que todo lo que nosotros queremos hacer en la vida está del otro lado de la zona de confort y definitivamente hay que salirse del miedo y hay que seguir hacia adelante. Ed.
All right. So the thing that we need to really understand is, even with my brokenness, even with the path that Richard has walked, we both shared, and the reason we decided to do this webinar together tonight was, one, we realized that desire to go to that next level is a global desire. And a story that we had in common was we both, kind of wanted to be entrepreneurs, and we thought about it for years and years. And for whatever reason, we both, allowed ourselves to be held back. We allowed ourselves to let the unknown keep us limited. Again, we began to realize that in order for us to move beyond where we were, say, a year ago, 5 years ago, we had to start doing different things. And so we started exploring, we started reaching out to different players to help us with our respective crafts. We started reaching out to each other to bounce ideas back and forth. We stepped outside our comfort zone. I mean, where do you see this mix? An English speaker and a Spanish speaker working together to try and develop a business to help save lives. And oh my God, what a ride it's been. It's been awesome. It's been phenomenal. But it only happened because we stepped outside of ourselves. Are you faced with a situation where you need to step beyond where you're at today? Do you need to tap into new people? Do you need to find you new playgrounds? I suspect that the answer to that question for you is yes. Richard.
Yeah, totalmente de acuerdo contigo, Ed. Muchas veces las personas no quieren tener resultados diferentes, pero quieren hacer lo mismo y entonces si no cambian la forma de actuar, si no cambia la forma de pensar, si no cambia la forma de estudiar, o sea, ¿cómo vas a tener esos resultados de esas cosas que quieres esperar? 14 años demoré yo en liberarme y salirme de la zona de confort. 14 años me pasé yo trabajando 40 horas a la semana y no sabiendo exactamente, teniendo un sueldo que no me servía para absolutamente nada y haciendo las cosas que yo sabía que no me iban a llevar del otro lado. Entonces, ¿qué es lo que tú tienes en plan? ¿Qué es lo que tú quieres realmente lograr en la vida? ¿Dónde te están llevando los objetivos? Y si tú quieres realmente algo, tú vas a tener que hacer cosas que hoy no haces para que mañana tú puedas tener esos resultados que tú aún no tienes. Entonces, en el plan mío, mi historia es bastante corta. Estuve trabajando para la Lotería de Nueva York, que fue uno de los mejores trabajos que yo tuve. Y entonces me encontraba, o sea, tenía una dirección, tenía un automóvil de la compañía, tenía internet, yo tenía todos los servicios y todo lo que podía tener que me podían dar, o sea, y ganaba suficientemente, o sea, más o menos como unos $70,000 anuales. Pero yo me encontré contra un choque y un día me dije, ¿es esto lo que yo quiero realmente estar haciendo? Y cuando yo me di cuenta que yo estaba muy descontento de lo que yo tenía todo lo material aparentemente, pero yo no me sentía bien con ese trabajo. Y fue donde yo tomé la decisión de soltarlo. Sí, tomé la decisión. Y todo lo que tú quieres tener en la vida es solamente tomar una decisión. Tú tienes que tomar una decisión. Y una vez que tú tomes una decisión, tienes que ejecutar. Una vez que tomes una decisión, tienes que salirte adelante. Una vez que tomes esa decisión, tienes que salirte de esa zona de confort. Una vez que tomas esa decisión, es cerrar los ojos, ir hacia adelante, sobrepasar cualquier tipo de obstáculo para que tú te encuentres donde tú realmente quieres estar. Yo la tomé y espero que hoy día tú tomes la decisión tuya. No importa lo que tú hiciste, lo que importa es lo que vas a hacer de ahora hacia adelante. Ed, you got it.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Very well
So,
said.
so Richard, the man of the hour. So I'm going to stop the screen sharing here, and we're going to actually go into the vision. And one of the things that we've both come to realize is that in order to be able to accomplish our respective missions, we have to get to a point where we want to be able to, or we are in a position to be able to actually see beyond the things that are at our disposal, be able to see beyond those things that we've been accustomed to be able to see beyond those things that are no longer valuable to us. You see, it was once said that it is better to be blind than to have sight without vision. So what does that mean? Well, let me offer this to you as an example, and your circumstances may very well be slightly different, but for me, I was in a drug and alcohol induced haze, and I was seeing things that were going on around me. I was seeing things to my left. I was seeing things behind me. I was seeing all kinds of things, but the thing that was lacking was vision. I didn't really have any real mental picture of where I wanted to go. I didn't have a mental picture of how I was going to get there. I didn't have a mental vision of what my circumstances could truly be. I never had the slightest indication that I'd be sitting before you today as a published author of a top-selling book called Back from Broken. I never had the idea that I'd be sitting here with the utmost desire to help people save their lives by being able to break outside of the zones of comfort that they exist. I didn't have the vision to look beyond my own little pity party. I mean, it ranged from things such as relationships, my job, my interaction with my family. I mean, I don't know. Maybe somebody out there in the audience is struggling with some of these very things. And if you are, indeed, I hope that you find something helpful for you today during our broadcast. But vision, again, it's better to be blind than to have sight without vision. And we have to attribute that to the wonderful Helen Keller who dropped that little nugget on us. And to my counterpart, who also shares a vision of success, Brother Richard, let me pop you into the screen, sir, and let him have it.
Totalmente de acuerdo. La visión es la cosa que nos permite ver el producto terminado muchas veces antes de estar iniciado. La visión es por algo que nos da fe, es algo que nos da fuerza cuando nosotros ya no la tenemos, cuando nosotros queremos cumplir algo. La visión es lo que hace que uno sobrepase los obstáculos de una forma cálida, de una forma inteligente y de una forma con bastante perspectiva. Eso es la visión. Entonces, es muy importante que ustedes vean su producto terminado. Es muy importante que ustedes se vean realizados. Es muy importante que ustedes ya se vean en la posición donde siempre han anhelado estar. Eso es súper importante. Es muy bueno tener la visión, pero si no haces nada con los ojos que tienes, no importa lo que hagas. Es importante vivir, es importante seguir adelante y hacerlo con visión y sobrepasar esos obstáculos. Ed.
All right. So the last and final area that we're going to go into as we try to round this out, and again, we appreciate you, and if you're liking anything that you're hearing, we ask that you click the buttons across the top of the screen, like it, share it with your network, pay it forward. If there's somebody that you know may be interested in this message tonight, please pay it forward to them so that they can benefit from the replay. If there's somebody out there that you know might be struggling with excuses or struggling with getting beyond to that next step, please share that with them as well. And I think we got some very interesting stuff, so hang tight for me. The next section that we wanted to, or going into that next section is, let's talk about solution. So first and foremost, in order to get to and get beyond, you got to get rid of the excuses. And in the famous words of Colin Powell, he said, there are no secrets to success. It's the result of preparation, hard work, and learning from failure. Now, a lot of us get stuck or caught on the failure piece. We're afraid to fail. We feel as though if we are showing our failure, or if we get caught up in our failure, that everything is over, the game is done. And I submit to you today that failure really can be the roadmap to your success. I said that failure does not have to be the end of the game. Trust and believe, as I was a crackhead walking the streets of Atlanta, I encountered many failures. I certainly encountered a lot of setbacks. I encountered a lot of crazy looks. I mean, yeah, because I'd walk in restaurants and people look at me and like, whoo, man, that guy smells bad. And I mean, today I laugh because I'm like, wow, I was tore up from the floor up. I didn't have contact with my family. I didn't really care about life in general. I had pretty much given up. But what I came to realize is that as my failures began to manifest themselves, and I began to look at why not me? Why can't I move to a better position in life? Why couldn't I come back from broken and be a credible contributor to society? I had to look at the fact that I had a lot of things that I possessed inside of me, and I had trust that you, listening to this broadcast, you have some things that you need to be proud of as well. I promise you, because greatness starts from within. It's all an inside job, and it does take hard work in order to get those things that you might want, to get those things that are outside of you, and you can't do it by yourself. What I've also learned is that success is a team sport, and it's because of that that I partner with people like Richard, partner with people like Ruben West, my awesome coach, partner with people like Otis Bellinger out of Detroit, partner with people like Willie Burton, a former NBA player who does enrichment programs for kids in the city. Surrounding myself with those new kinds of folks have introduced new ideas and have introduced new motivation and inspiration for myself, but even more so, it's provided the alignment with purpose to know that there's hard work, but it's all well worth it. Richard.
It looks like we have 2 minutes left, doesn't it? Well, you can find Richard at richardtanny.com.
Yeah,
and
we might go over a few minutes.
Tell us where you can get your book.
Yep. Well, Richard, go ahead. Roll with that last segment, and then we'll move into the last couple of minutes.
Yeah. Well said, Ed. Muy bien dicho, Ed. Siempre tenemos nosotros la idea que lo que queremos cumplir en la vida, y cuando nosotros no lo hacemos y no tenemos los resultados de manera inmediata, pensamos entonces que las cosas no se van a dar o que las cosas no funcionan. Pero lo que ustedes tienen que saber es que las cosas buenas en la vida toman su tiempo. Y no son que tardan en llegar, sino que nosotros somos los que queremos los resultados demasiado rápido. Y Colin Powell lo dijo, no hay secreto para el éxito. Más bien, es el resultado de una preparación, de un trabajo duro y aprender de su fracaso. Muchos tienen miedo y no toman acción. Muchos prefieren quedarse en su zona de confort. Pero lo que quiero es que sepan es que si ustedes le están temiendo a los fracasos por miedo, también se están alejando del éxito. Ed.
All right, man. So, want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. We went a few minutes over due to our technical difficulties, but that's okay because we're totally controlling this whole broadcast. See, that's what happens when you're back from broken. You get to control some stuff. So we can roll with that, Richard. Mercedes, thank you so much. Mercedes, I want you to come on and tell the folk how to get in touch with you. So hold on 1 second.
MercedesHawkinsBooks.com.
MercedesHawkinsBook.com. Go get it, folks. Go out to MercedesHawkinsBook.com and check out Miss Mercedes. Patronize our sister and help her out to move her career a little further, faster, and forward. Brother Richard, you got any offers that you would like to present to the group?
Muy bien, ahora ya todo solamente mi CD que está en Amazon y también lo pueden encontrar en mi website de internet www.richardtati.com, donde tengo pasos para encontrar trabajos en tiempos difíciles. Así que me pueden encontrar ahí, también me pueden encontrar con Facebook como Coach Richard Tati y sobre todo en Twitter como Richard Tati 1. Ed, you got it.
All right. So one last thing I want to share with you guys is that the reason that myself, Mercedes, and Richard were all able to get back to where we are and moving forward and moving to new levels is because there were people that poured into us. There were people that saw what we were doing, saw our energy, and started to help us out. And you know what? I want to do the same thing tonight. For the first 10 people that go to my website, and that's www.thetipsacademy.com. Again, that's www.thetipsacademy.com. What I'm going to do for you tonight, the first 10 people that go there, I'm going to not only give away a signed copy of Back from Broken, but I'm going to take it a step further. How about this? In the spirit of paying it forward, what I'm going to do for you tonight is for the first 3 people that sign up, and so you're going to have to move quickly. The first 3 people that move will get a free 30-minute coaching session with me to see if we can help you move your life to the next level and beyond so that you can come out of that comfort zone, so that you can free yourself from yourself and realize that there's no more excuses required. So I'm so glad that you all were able to join myself, Richard, and Mercedes this evening, and I'll leave you with this. Good, better, best. We can't let it rest until our good is our better and our better is our best. And we'll see you at the top now. Please post inside of the Be Your Best 2015 Facebook group, and we'll see you on the next side, on the top side. Thank you so much. All right, guys.